The biggest lie you've been told is that being a man doesn't require effort. The truth is that masculinity is in crisis, and no one wants to talk about it. Men are weaker, more anxious, without energy and without courage. But the worst. Most don't even realize they are being sabotaged. What was once a symbol of strength has now become a laughingstock. And all of this has a reason: the lack of control over one's own vital energy. Few know, but there is an ancient secret that can completely transform your life, restoring your energy, mental clarity, and courage. This secret has always been practiced by the greatest leaders, warriors, and wise men in history. But modern society hides this from you, because a strong, focused, and determined man cannot be manipulated. Semen retention is not just a practice, it is a key to recovering your true essence and achieving prosperity. If you feel like your energy is low, your motivation is gone, and your courage has been drained over the years, then you need to understand this now. Nature favors the brave, but the question is, are you ready to break out of mediocrity and take control of your own life? Throughout history, masculinity has always been linked to physical and mental resistance. Being a man faced brutal challenges, from hunting to feed his tribe to protecting his family against constant threats. There was no room for fragility, as survival depended on strength, courage, and cunning. In ancient societies, rites of passage were essential for transforming boys into warriors, testing not only their strength but their mental resilience. Those who failed these tests were often excluded or did not survive. This shows how man's vital energy has always been linked to his control over himself. The difference between the past and the present is stark. Today, most men do not need to hunt for food or physically defend themselves from predators. The modern world has brought comfort, but also an excessive relaxation of masculinity. Few are challenged to develop courage and discipline. And without challenge, there is no growth. The consequence of this? Men who are fragile, insecure, and disconnected from their true essence. The Creator of the universe never designed man to be passive, but rather to seek evolution, face difficulties head-on, and strengthen his spirit. But has masculinity been completely lost? Not necessarily. There will always be those who, even surrounded by complacency, seek to forge their internal strength. They are those who challenge themselves daily, who cultivate habits of self-discipline, and who are not afraid to leave their comfort zone. This is the way to rescue courage, vital energy, and cryptocurrencies. And speaking of challenges, there is a crucial factor that can make a man become strong or succumb to doldrums: the impact of modern comfort. Much of the modern world has created a generation of men who have never had to fight for anything. Everything is just a click away: food, entertainment, distractions. The absence of real difficulties generated a weakened masculinity, where resilience and courage gave way to laziness and inaction. When everything comes easy, the mind gets used to minimal effort, and this kills any sense of challenge. The Creator of the universe made us to evolve, and evolution happens in discomfort, not in stagnation. The problem is that modern man does not realize that he is trapped in this trap. He wakes up, picks up his cell phone, gets distracted for hours, and avoids any effort that requires mental resistance. Your vital energy dissipates into instant pleasures instead of being channeled towards your growth. Inner peace does not come from comfort, but from overcoming. The ancients understood that comfort shaped kings and warriors, while excess comfort weakened even the most powerful empires. This is not coincidental. But the good news is that the man can still regain his strength. Just make different choices, exchange laziness for challenge, distraction for discipline, excess for balance. Small changes, such as intense exercise, learning a new skill, or simply enduring discomfort without complaining, make a huge difference. And if there is something that separates those who become strong from those who surrender to weakness, it is precisely the way they deal with life's challenges. In fact, there is a pattern that repeats itself in history and can explain this better. History shows an unbreakable cycle: difficult times for strong men, who build prosperous times. But this prosperity, in turn, generates complacency and weakness, leading again to difficult times. This pattern has been repeated for centuries, as it is human nature to avoid effort when things are simple. The Creator of the universe gave man the ability to grow in the face of adversity, and those who refuse life's challenges end up being consumed by their own weakness. Look at any great civilization that exists. The most powerful empires were born from struggle and sacrifice. But when comfort set in and men became complacent, everything fell apart. The same happens in personal life. A man who faces difficulties and becomes stronger prospers. Those who give in to comfort and avoid challenges go into decline. Light and shadow coexist in this cycle, and those who do not understand this dynamic are held hostage by the situations. So, how to break this pattern and become strong without having to go through chaos? The answer is simple. Impose challenges on yourself. Seek voluntary discomfort. Strengthen your mind and body before life does it to you in the worst way. Train your resilience. Develop useful skills. Escape mediocrity. The path from threats passes through the courage to face the unknown, and this courage has a powerful source within each man. And if you think this is just theory, wait until you understand the relationship between courage and biology. The relationship between masculinity and courage is not only cultural, but also biological. Testosterone, a hormone predominantly in men, is directly linked to boldness, controlled aggression, and the ability to make assertive decisions. Since ancient times, men who had higher levels of these hormones were those who led, protected, and ensured the prosperity of their tribes. The creator of the universe did not design man to be passive, but rather to act, to care about challenges, and seek his evolution. Have you ever seen how confident, certain, and fearless men seem to have a different energy? This is not just expected, it's chemistry. When testosterone is high, a man feels more energetic, his mind becomes more focused, and his presence is naturally stronger. On the other hand, low levels of these hormones generate apathy, insecurity, and even a lack of purpose. It's as if a man's inner light were going out a little, leaving him directionless and vulnerable to external influences. But here's the secret. It is possible to naturally increase testosterone levels and, consequently, confidence. High-intensity exercise, sun exposure, eating a diet rich in good fats, and reducing stress are some of the most effective methods. However, there is an even more powerful and often ignored factor: the way sexual energy is managed. The way a man handles this can define whether he will be strong and dominant or weak and submissive. And this connection between sexual energy and cultural advancement is something few people truly understand. Throughout history, the civilizations that have prospered the longest have had something in common: sexual discipline. People who controlled their impulses, directing their vital energy towards personal and collective growth, reaching high levels of cultural, spiritual, and economic advancement. This does not mean repression, but rather strategic channeling of this powerful force. The creator of the universe gave man brutal energy that can be used to build empires or for his own destruction. It all depends on how he chooses to use it. Just look at the great leaders and philosophers of the past. Many practiced some form of sexual restraint to enhance their mental clarity and increase their willpower. This allowed them to make strategic decisions and have greater control over their emotions. By contrast, societies that descended into unbridled indulgence, making pleasure immediately a way of life, invariably collapsed. Light and darkness alternate in the story, and those who do not control their instincts end up being dominated by them. But the question is, how can a man apply this today to become stronger and prosper? The answer lies in small habits. Reducing exposure to empty stimuli, avoiding wasting energy on ephemeral pleasures, and channeling this power into work, creativity, and personal development are essential steps. This discipline creates an inner strength capable of transforming any reality. There is concrete evidence that this practice not only strengthens the individual, but also boosts the progress of entire societies. Sexual energy has always been seen as a creative force, not only in a biological sense, but also in human and cultural development. Civilizations that learned to channel this energy, transforming it into productive force, created great empires and legacies that lasted centuries. The creator of the universe gave man this power so that he could use it with purpose, and not to dissipate it in empty pleasures. When well directed, this force generates inner peace, mental clarity, and an unbeatable drive to achieve prosperity. Studies show that societies with greater sexual discipline have made significant advances in science, art, and philosophy. History is full of examples. Buddhist monks channeled their energy to reach heightened states of consciousness, samurai warriors practiced retention to increase their focus in battle, and many of humanity's geniuses avoided sexual distraction to enhance their creativity. The light of knowledge always shined brightest where instincts dominated. Today, however, we live in an era where that energy is constantly drained by digital distractions and addictions that weaken masculinity. The good news is that any man can reverse this situation and recover his inner power. By practicing retention and directing that energy toward his goals, he gains more clarity, confidence, and determination. But there is a modern enemy that silently sabotages this process, undermining men's strength and making them increasingly fragile. Excessive sexual indulgence has devastating effects that most men don't even realize. With each excessive dissipation, there is a hormonal depletion that reduces testosterone levels, causing fatigue, apathy, and loss of motivation. The Creator of the universe designed man to use his vital energy wisely, and not to waste it on momentary impulses that bring immediate pleasure but weaken his inner strength. Those who abuse this uncontrolled consumption end up feeling the effects on their mind, body, and even their spirit. Research indicates that men who constantly indulge in uncontrolled pleasure experience a decline in energy, focus, and even courage to face challenges. Many begin to feel anxiety, insecurity, and a disconnection with their own essence. It's as if your internal light was going out little by little, leaving only a void. Not to mention the tendency towards feminization. Low testosterone levels make men less assertive, less dominant, and more vulnerable to external influences. The problem is not just the pleasure itself, but the lack of discipline when dealing with it. The good news is that this cycle can be reversed. By adopting retention as a practice and channeling this energy towards concrete goals, a man recovers his vitality, his mental clarity, and his willpower. But this isn't just an ancient belief. There are entire cultures that have understood this principle and turned retention into a true path to power and personal fulfillment. Semen retention has always been considered a powerful secret by many cultures. From Taoist masters to ascetic monks, the practice was seen as a means of strengthening the body, clearing the mind, and expanding spiritual energy. The Creator of the universe gave man this strength not to be wasted carelessly, but to be used intelligently. When a man learns to control this impulse, he notices a significant increase in his willingness, courage, and ability to achieve prosperity. The benefits are not just theoretical, but observable. Men who practice semen retention report more energy throughout the day, greater mental clarity, and a more commanding presence. They become more productive, more focused, and less susceptible to distractions that drain their vitality. It's as if the inner light is rekindled, making them more magnetic and determined. This accumulated energy, when well directed, becomes a force capable of completely changing the trajectory of a man's life. But it's not enough to just retain it. The real secret lies in transmuting this energy. Intense physical exercise, meditation, and creative practices are ways to channel this power into something productive. Without this transmutation, retention can become just accumulated frustration. However, when used well, this practice awakens a strength that few know about. But there is a modern obstacle that undermines the masculinity of millions of men and prevents them from discovering this power. Pornography is one of the greatest silent enemies of modern masculinity. With easy and unlimited access, millions of men are draining their vital energy without even realizing the damage it causes. The Creator of the universe designed man to utilize this strength in constructive ways, but excessive pornography consumption turns this energy into weakness, anxiety, and procrastination. The worst thing is that the brain quickly adapts to this artificial stimulus, becoming addicted to instant pleasure and weakening the ability to act in the real world. Studies show that frequent pornography consumption reduces testosterone levels, dysregulates the dopamine system, and weakens motivation. Men addicted to this habit tend to have less energy, less courage, and more difficulty dealing with challenges. Over time, this indulgence creates a cycle of apathy and procrastination, making them passive in life. Instead of seeking evolution and prosperity, many lose themselves in a bubble of illusory pleasure as their inner light slowly dims. The way out of this cycle begins with awareness. Blocking access, replacing time spent watching pornography with activities that elevate the mind and body, such as physical exercise and reading, are fundamental steps. But the real transformation happens when man decides to take back his power, directing his energy towards concrete goals. And this is the principle that governs all of nature. Those who cultivate their strength and discipline are those who prosper, for nature always favors the brave. Nature does not reward hesitation, weakness, or passivity. From the earliest times, only those who demonstrated courage, discipline, and action were able to prosper. The Creator of the universe established immutable natural laws, and one of them is simple. Those who become stronger and face challenges grow, while those who avoid discomfort become irrelevant. Men who cultivate self-discipline and improve their skills become unbeatable, as they develop a sharp instinct to see opportunities and seize them without fear. Just look at the greats in history. No man who has accomplished anything great in life has been a slave to his own weakness. They all learned to deal with discomfort and use their life energy to build empires, create revolutionary art, or leave an eternal legacy. Prosperity does not come to those who become complacent, but rather to those who have the courage to break destructive habits and take control over their own existence. The inner light only shines brightly in those who refuse to live in the darkness of mediocrity. The good news is that any man can follow this path. Just make the decision to be strong, to eliminate the addictions that drain your vitality, and to act with determination every day. The world belongs to the bold, to those who embrace discomfort and become bigger than their fears. And now that you understand all this, there is something that needs to be said. Semen retention is not just a practice, but a key to awakening this hidden power that many will never discover. Now that you understand all this, tell me, are you going to continue wasting your energy, or are you going to use it to become a stronger, braver, and more prosperous man? The choice is yours. What you do with your vitality defines who you are and how far you can go. Semen retention is not a superstition, but a tool for those who wish to master themselves and conquer their place in the world. If you really want to change your life, start now. Eliminate habits that weaken you, develop your discipline, and channel that energy into creating something great. Have you ever noticed how successful men have a commanding presence, an unwavering focus, and an unbreakable determination? This is no coincidence. This strength comes from the ability to control your impulses and use them as fuel for growth. Now, I want to know, are you ready to break out of inertia and become a real man? If so, like this video, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here, you will continue to learn the secrets that few have the courage to reveal. But remember, information without action is worthless. What will you do with the knowledge you just received?